To discuss the arrest and detention of one of our comrades, Femi. At that time, anytime anybody was arrested, we would set up a committee to release one particular person. But at that meeting, we resolved, since people were being arrested and detained so regularly, and some were also being driven to exile. One of them is here, Professor Kilesi. We agreed that we're no longer going to set up ad hoc committees. We now decided to have a permanent committee to defend and promote human rights in the country. That was how CDHR was born. 30 years ago, it would have been possible to assemble to discuss human rights in our country. So we must thank the CDHR and other organizations and individuals in our country that have made it possible for us to put an end to the unending military dictatorship in our country. Notwithstanding that we are currently having what you might call a rickety democracy, there are gains of the struggle of over 30 years that we must celebrate today. One of the gains we have just recorded, and I'm happy the National Human Rights Commission is represented here, is that there is now a law that has prohibited and in fact criminalized torture in our country. If you subject any Nigerian to torture in a police station or anywhere, you are deemed to have committed an offense and you will be prosecuted. The other one, to halt incessant arrest and detention of our people. The military regimes detain anybody who has been ordered to do it. They could manipulate, they could filibuster, but ultimately we got everybody released. And one of the cases undo during that era will interest you. The CDHR had asked me to go to court to challenge the detention of a Nigerian who had been kept for 3 years. Of course, the government brought his, they filed a return to the application. The man that was detained, whose case CDHR had taken up, was Adegbenro Noah, N-O-A-H. When the government brought the return, the person that was detained by the government was Adegbenro Noah, N-U-A-H. And we were able to convince the court that we're dealing with two different people. And that since Adegbenro Noah was the person to be detained and not Adegbenro Noah, whose case CDHR was fighting, the court gave the order for the man's release. And the man was released. The other one, the premises of the National Concord have been closed down. And the Babangida junta tried to justify the closure on the ground that the newspaper was embarrassing the government. So CDHR took up this matter. The decree under which the newspaper was, the newspaper house was closed down, provided that if you embarrass the government, your newspaper house could be sealed off. But when the government brought the instrument sealing off the premises, they wrote, the premises of Concord newspapers are hereby sealed up. Because what the law requires in subjecting people to inconvenience, when you want to violate the rights of people, you must comply with the enabling law strictly and scrupulously. So we tried to convince the court. Father took a bottle of wine to the court to demonstrate that you can seal up a bottle like this bottle of wine, my Lord, but you cannot seal up a house. Since the government had departed from the law by claiming that they have sealed up the Concord premises, the court will have to intervene. And the court struck down, the closure and ordered that the paper be reopened. That was how we fought for the rights of our people. The last one, we had a meeting like this. And that is the point I'm making about the fact that we have been able to expand the democratic space. I'm sure Odion and others will recall this meeting. We had a meeting, gathered like this, to discuss the way forward in the struggle. And of course, as soon as we gathered and wanted to start the meeting, Dr. Beko was presiding. Armed soldiers and mobile police personnel surrounded the venue. And of course, we were sure they were going to arrest some of our leaders. And somebody had this wonderful idea that we should start singing religious songs since we were gathered for a meeting. And somebody just started by saying, we are saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, my Lord. And on and on and on. And of course, we sang and sang and sang. And the troops left us. And of course, we were able to go on with our meeting. Today, we do not have to pretend to sing any religious song. And that is the beauty of the events of today.